The China Report for Sunday, April 14, 2013. U.S. opposes China action in island dispute. The United States says it's committed to defending Japan and opposes any coercive action by China to seize territory under Japanese control in the East China Sea. Japan, U.S. North Korea. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry says the U.S. isn't taking a position in the dispute over the islands, known as Senkaku in Japan and Diaoyu in China. Japan and China have sparred over the uninhabited islands in recent years. Kerry's strong words of support Sunday for America's ally come just a day after he promised new levels of U.S. and Chinese cooperation on a host of problems, most notably North Korea's nuclear program. Venture capitalists rethink big bets on China amid dismal IPO picture. 2 years ago, it was one of the hottest areas in tech investing. Venture capitalists were lining up to throw money at it. But now, after disappointing IPOs, investors are fleeing. Social networking? Nope. China. In the past few years, virtually every venture shop worth its salt set up operations in the Middle Kingdom, home to one of the world's fastest-growing economies and a billion-strong consumer marketplace. Defying the decades-old maxim that venture capitalists wouldn't invest outside a 30-minute drive of Menlo Park's Sand Hill Road, firms here and elsewhere rush to join Chinese venture houses or send homegrown partners to China. Because of Beijing's restrictions on foreign ownership, most U.S. investments in Chinese companies pass through joint venture arrangements that can slow the time before investors can reap profits, he said. And authorities on both sides of the Pacific are still wrestling with how those partnerships should be taxed. Absurd racism claim and attacks on Chinese culture. This year's Sports Illustrated swimsuit was photographed internationally in 8 locals and included local flavor of each local. As such, it has been accused of racism by some notable bloggers, and the story has spread into mainstream media outlets. The claims of racism go to such absurd lengths as to actually denigrate minority culture in China. Jessica Gomez was photographed standing with some members of a minority ethnic group in Guilin wearing traditional attire. An Vi was photographed on a raft on the Li River guided by a Chinese person. Her major criticisms of the photo shoot come down to claims that it makes China and the other locals look poor compared to the West when each of the locals she mentioned also includes examples of bustling cities. She wants us to look at the cities and ignore the realities of daily life for hundreds of millions who have been left behind by China's economic growth. China's military expanding its capabilities. China's military is developing longer-range ballistic and anti-ship missiles that are shifting the balance of power in the region and could help Beijing secure resources or settle territorial disputes, a report released by the Pentagon said Wednesday. China also continues to build up short-range missiles and increase its coercive capabilities against Taiwan. The report suggests such moves constitute an effort to pressure Taiwan into settling the cross-strait dispute in favor of China, though tensions between the two countries have receded over the past year. The report, called The Military Power of the People's Republic of China, is the Pentagon's annual briefing to Congress on the status of the communist country's military might. While China continues to proclaim that its military buildup is for defense purposes to protect its interests, the report says the country's lack of transparency is worrisome and could lead to an unintended conflict. The limited transparency in China's military and security affairs poses risks to stability by creating uncertainty and increasing the potential for misunderstanding and miscalculation, according to the report. Much uncertainty surrounds China's future course, particularly regarding how its expanding military power might be used. The lack of transparency causes Washington to speculate to some degree on what their intentions are, Pentagon spokesman Jeff Morrell told reporters at a Wednesday briefing. That's the China Report for today. Zaijian.